All right, welcome to another episode of the Chiropractic Authority podcast. Today, I got Dr. Eric Plasker. Guy is the author of the 100-Year Lifestyle. He has coached over 12,000 chiropractors and is a huge authority figure in the chiropractic realm. If you haven't heard of him and you're a chiropractor, I'm really surprised. Doc, every successful chiropractor has an aha moment where something clicked about how to communicate chiropractic. What was yours, and how did you change the way you talk to patients?
Great question. And what's interesting is being 41 years as a practicing chiropractor and helping so many chiropractors, I can tell you that I've had many aha moments. I think if you think you have only had one, then you need to wake up to the others that you missed out on. But when it comes to communicating chiropractic, I think one of the biggest moments was I was in my practice in Marietta, Georgia. I opened a second office there. My original office was in Buckhead, which is like the heart of the heartbeat, not downtown Atlanta, but just the hot hub of cool upscale Atlanta. And I opened a second office closer to my home. My wife was having our children, and I wanted to be closer. So I built to 100 visits a day in less than 9 months. Everybody wanted to know what I was doing in the chiropractic world. A lot of students would come to visit, hang out in the office. And this really changed my life because I had an older lady. She was probably in her, I say older. She was probably in her mid-60s, and her name was Marie. And I had two young chiropractors standing there in my reception room because I am a subluxation-based principal chiropractor. I pride myself on excellent communication. And I looked at Marie and I asked Marie, these two young doctors, chiropractors, they want to learn from what we're doing here. And so why don't you tell them, because you've been doing great, you've never missed an appointment in a couple of years, just lifestyle care all the way. Tell these young whippersnappers what a subluxation is. And she looked at me like she had no clue what I was saying, even though I had told her probably 400 times. And she said to me, Dr. Plasker, a what? And I was like, Marie, a subluxation. What's a subluxation? She said, Dr. Plasker, a what? And it was embarrassing to me at the time because she had heard it 100 times. She couldn't remember what it was. She didn't know what it meant. And so I said to her, I said, Marie, we talked about it. You came in, your brain communicates with the body over the nervous system. It can get interfered with. When it happens, it's a subluxation, blah, blah, blah. And she said, Dr. Plasker, I don't remember any of that. I said, so Marie, you haven't missed an appointment in years. You come every week for years. Why do you come? And her answer changed my life. She said, well, Dr. Plasker, so I can garden. And I was like, wow, thank you for that moment, literally. So literally it's about, for her, it was about what was in it for her, which is really what it's about for everybody. And that's when I realized, you know what, I already considered myself an expert at communication because I've been working on it for probably 8 or 9 years, seriously. And I realized I was an expert at it, but I said, you know what, you got to let go of some things when you're communicating with the public. And I learned about the difference between what I call peers versus people. When we're speaking to each other, doctor to doctor to doctor, versus when we're speaking to a public audience, we have to be about what's in it for them. What is the benefit for them? Not just what we want them to know, but what's in it for them. And so we shifted a lot of our communications. And then instead of attracting new patients one at a time, we started attracting people, in mass, literally. And we were able to get doctors all over the world attracting people in mass. And the rest is history.
So I love that. How do you talk to your patients?
Okay. So what I have learned over the years, this is my experience, okay, with the experience that you have described in your introduction, which humbles me that I have been able to do that. I feel like a little kid in a candy store. I feel like I'm just getting started. This never feels old to me. It always feels new and fresh. So I think that's important. But what I have learned, especially because the world has changed. I remember one of my mentors, Joe Felicia, said to me one time, I had him alone in my office for 2 days straight. He completely just rearranged my brain. It was the most amazing experience. If you didn't get to know him before he passed, he was just a warrior for chiropractic. And he would talk about speaking to the public and getting through to people. And I listened to him, and he talked about branding, and he talked about positioning, and he talked about repositioning. These are really big, high-level marketing words. And he said to me one time, he said, Eric, he had like this really deep, crazy voice. He said, Eric, he said, get bigger than your town. And it's not about you. It's not about me. So what do you mean, Joe? He said, it's not just about what you want them to know. People have to understand what the benefit is to them. So I arranged all my communication around benefit-driven communication for people. And then the next aha moment was when I learned about branding, and I'm going to answer your question, like, how do we communicate now? So back then, this was in the early 90s. Okay, so this is maybe before you were born and before some of our listeners were born, right? And so at the time, chiropractors were still considered quacks. We had won the lawsuit with the AMA and all of that, but we were still considered quacks. I got on quack watch lists literally my first 3 years in practice because of how we were educating people and communicating with people. It didn't bother me. I considered it like a badge of honor almost. But but we were putting messaging out there that was very valuable. And then the world changed like multiple times. So I often talk about with the people that we work with on a regular basis that was a paradigm shift. And there are 3 phases of the paradigm shift. And the first paradigm shift was the wellness revolution. And that's like the late 90s when there was a book called The Wellness Revolution. It was also called The Next Trillion. And they changed the branding because The Next Trillion was the same exact book. The first book was The Next Trillion. Then they changed it to The Wellness Revolution, and it soared. Okay, it soared. And Paul Zane Pilsner wrote that book. So that was when I was literally just starting to train chiropractors. All that was going on. So we came out with educational programs, marketing programs, things for doctors to help them communicate with people. And I learned about branding. That's the first place that I learned about branding. But the most impactful place that I learned about branding is when I wrote the 100-Year Lifestyle. A lot of people don't know that the original title of the book was not the 100-Year Lifestyle. The original title of the book was, well, it started out as an educational marketing program that I had done in my practice, and then I started selling to chiropractors all over the country. It was called Living Your Life Without Limits. And it was all about expressing your full potential for a lifetime. It was about from the moment of conception, you had the blueprint to live to 80, 90, 100 years and beyond, no disease if you were made good choices and you had a healthy nervous system. Sold like crazy. We sold it to thousands of doctors way back. And then we changed the title to, because we found out that there were other people that were doing Live Your Life Without Limits, and we were getting confused with a lot of different people, and somebody had a brand on Live Your Life Without Limits that we were competing with, and they had a trademark brand. So we had to pull it and change the name. I was like, okay, this is very interesting. So I said, okay, then I took this Live Your Life Without Limits program and I rebranded it and put it in a book format that I wanted to sell and market it through a publishing company and get it in every bookstore in the world if we could. So I hired a literary agent. I had a nice following. I had thousands of chiropractic customers at the time. And I took this message, rebranded it, and I put it in a book form and took it to the publishers, and they loved the content of the book. They loved it. It was all about longevity, living to 100-year-old people, the world's fastest growing group, same things we talk about now. And they loved me. They loved my following, but they hated the title. They hated the title. Okay. So you ready for the title? The original title. Ready? Okay. The Chiropractic Lifestyle. Okay. So, and actually the original, even before that, the original title was The 7 Laws of Lifetime Wellness, because the wellness revolution was going. So I had these 7 laws, the law of probability. You're probably going to live longer than you ever thought because 100-year-old people are the fastest growing group. So you have to take care of yourself differently. Chiropractic, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So they said to me in that first meeting, they said to me, well, Dr. Plasker, listen, we love the book. We love the message, but we're not going to buy any more wellness books, because we've already got a bunch of wellness books that we're going to roll out by drug companies, by medical industries, et cetera. So we're not doing another wellness book, but we love the content. We love the 100-year thing. We love the message. So come back with repackage it a little bit and then come back, because we like you. This is great. So I went back, and that's when I went back with the Chiropractic Lifestyle after they loved the wellness revolution, loved me, came back with the Chiropractic Lifestyle. And literally, Robert, oh my God, it was like a knife in my heart, my immature heart, my very immature, lack of wisdom heart. It was like the cross they will hold up, like, wow, we thought we liked you. You know what I'm saying? Never mind. We thought we liked you. So I left really discouraged. And then innately, my innate said, Eric, you know what the title's going to be. You know you got something here. It's really special. And so just change the name. Don't worry about pleasing your chiropractic friends. You know what you're doing for the world. You know what they don't know. go for it. So I went back with the 100-year lifestyle. And I went from having disinterest, high interest to a bidding war.
Yeah. Like who doesn't want to live for 100 years?
Healthy.
Yes.
Right. So I got an amazing book deal. It became, to this day, is the only book ever written by a chiropractor with DC on the cover to be in the front page space by the publishers in almost every English-speaking bookstore in the world. And then it got translated into multiple languages. Companies bought the foreign rights to it, et cetera. And then we took it and then we branded it as a practice model, which is what we do today. So we have a certification program, 100-year lifestyle certification program for doctors. We're going to put a 100-year lifestyle doctor in every community. We're not going to put them there. They're already there. People that think like this and think like us, that want a lot of lifetime patients, but they want to stand out with a brand that can help them be out of the box of what the mishmash of chiropractic confusion is. And so what I learned about the branding, going back to your question, you said, so how do I communicate today? So the way we communicate today in a digital world is we brand everything 100-year lifestyle. And then we have a 100-year lifestyle educational model. We have 100-year lifestyle newsletters. We have 100-year lifestyle ebooks. We have 100-year lifestyle books. We had the #1 fitness book in America the week it was released, ahead of The Biggest Loser when we came out, the workout book, because the branding matters. Yeah, the branding matters. And so the way that we communicate today is, and we used to have the formula bond, listen, lead. We bond with the people, then we listen to them, and then we lead them with our chiropractic messaging. Now, how we communicate is brand, bond, listen, lead. So it's brand, bond, listen, lead. Why the brand? Because the challenge, I think one of the biggest challenges today, as opposed to 40 years ago when I started, 40 years ago, not a lot of people knew what chiropractic was. And that was a problem that needed to be solved. But we were attacked, we were vilified by the medical establishment. We had this lawsuit going, we were labeled as quacks. So we had to fight to be heard. And so, and then the world changed. And so when the world changed and we became, now in 2020, we became essential healthcare providers, the fight is a different fight, but we haven't learned to fight differently. We fight by attacking, we fight by screaming, shouting, ranting. No, we are in the age from a paradigm shift perspective. It's in a pre-paradigm shift, you have to knock people over the head to get their attention. In the middle of a paradigm shift, you have to lead to get your share. You have to lead that shift and educate people. But then in the post-paradigm shift, which is really where we are now, the post-paradigm shift, it's all about trusting brands. And chiropractic does not have an identity with a brand. It has a no trusting brand.
Absolutely.
So you have brands like the cheapy, commoditized chiropractic, cheapy, 1,000 more
and for your $20 special quack,
yeah,
so you're selling crack videos, yada, yada, yada. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not us. That's not the 100-year lifestyle. The 100-year lifestyle is a high value brand. So we do a lot of the similar types of services that they do, except we're better at it. But because it's branded differently, it helps the chiropractor that doesn't want to be a part of those franchises continue to own their own practice and have a high value brand to not only compete against those others, but to stand out in their community as leaders.
Love it. So is your practice the 100-year lifestyle practice as well?
So our practice is Plasker Family and Performance Chiropractic. That's my practice now that I opened with my son a few years ago, which I'm so excited about. And then my company name is The Family Practice. Public-facing brand is the 100-year lifestyle.
Gotcha. Okay. So how you see the social media, everything being online, how do you see, or where do you see the chiropractic marketing going to educate patients with this new online stuff? Well, not new online, but everything's online now. You don't have yellow pages. You don't have billboards. Who's doing TV? Is it word of mouth? Where do you see it going in this new paradigm?
Great question. Well, we see it going to the best brands will win.
Okay.
That's where we see it going. The best brands will win, because it's very hard for an individual chiropractor like Jones Chiropractic, John Chiropractic, and then you have The Joint and the other $29 special places. So you see the brand, you have Chiro One, you have all these different brands popping up all over the place that are opening up in your community. Wherever you're listening, these brands are coming to your community. So I'm a healthcare entrepreneur. And I do not want to be a part of a franchise personally. That's not what I want to do. I want to be the entrepreneur to have that entrepreneurial business. So we decided with the 100-Year Lifestyle, we could have gone to a franchise model. We chose not to. We went to a licensing model because we want the individual mom and pop chiropractor who wants to own their own business to be able to not only compete with those brands that are moving into their community, but actually stand out as a high value brand for chiropractic and the chiropractic, quote unquote, chiropractic lifestyle package as the 100-Year Lifestyle, to be able to stand out in that community and command higher fees with traditional chiropractic protocols. And if there's other things that you want to do with that, that's fine with me. It doesn't bother me as long as chiropractic is at the center of that healthy lifestyle, which is what we talk about. And, when we look at x-rays, we look at them differently. People talk about degeneration in the spine. And degenerative joint disease. You look at an x-ray. So if you're a chiropractor and you're taking x-rays, you're going to love this because somebody comes in, they have arthritis, they have degenerative joint disease. And you say, well, my doctor said I have arthritis, I have degenerative joint disease. I said, well, I disagree with your doctor. It's like, what do you mean? I said, well, that's a complete misnomer. That's not a valid name. Degeneration is not a disease. Degeneration is degeneration. And if it can degenerate, it can regenerate if you remove the cause of the degeneration. And that's what we do. And people get more functional. You take a flexion extension, you see it was stuck and now it's moving, you got functional regeneration. And so what's exciting is when you have these conversations with people, it's literally like light bulbs. And if you timed that conversation, Robert, that was not even a 20-second conversation that I just gave you. And so everything that we do, it's branded 100-Year Lifestyle. It takes people out of the box of what they thought they knew about what we do. So they come in with fresh ears, fresh eyes. It's not cheap. It has value. It's long-term. So then when we talk about the transition from crisis care to lifestyle care, and people say, well, how often am I going to need to come for this lifestyle care thing? I said, that doesn't depend on me. It depends on you. The intensity of your lifestyle care is going to depend on the intensity of your lifestyle and how well you do. If you run marathons, you'll need more lifestyle care. If you meditate 5 times a day, you'll need less lifestyle care. It's not on me, it's on you. So it's all about
Absolutely.
lifetime care, lifestyle care, and it all makes so much sense. And what makes it make so much sense and makes people hear it is the branding, because it's a fresh perspective and it's a long-term thinking right from day one. So we don't ever have to, I got tired of over the years trying to upsell people and upsell and upsell and upsell and upsell and remind and remind. That's why we put the branding, long-term vision right up front. The educational model, all the articles that we write to answer your question about in the digital world. Like if you go to 100yearlifestyle.com, there's close to 1,000 articles on there that are on every topic related to health that funnel people to chiropractic as the leader of this movement.
Okay.
So the other thing that I got tired of, I watched chiropractors refer to this nutrition brand or that, whatever exercise thing in their community, local people. And I said, well, if you do this exercise, and they do this like ridiculous stretch. And they said, if you do this exercise, you won't need to see your chiropractor anymore. That's a crock. We had a woman, literally a woman that saw what she was at a golf course, one of our patients. She went to a golf tournament, a local club tournament. And there were people there doing the stretching exercises. They had a, stretch zone or whatever. I forget what the name of the company was, stretch something. And so she was stretching our patient, and she told our patient, well, if you do these stretches, you won't ever need to see your chiropractor. And she was like, well, that's not true. And she just stood up for it. Then my patient came back and told us, and I said, what's her number? And I called her. I called this stretch person. I said, listen, I just want to tell you, my name is Dr. Eric Plasker. I know that you stretched Sue at the golf tournament the other day, and I just wanted you to know that you gave her incorrect information. It is completely not true that if you do that stretch that you're not going to need chiropractic care, that she's not going to need chiropractic care. Did you look at her x-rays? Did you evaluate her? What gives you the right to make a chiropractic recommendation?
Yeah.
I said, you really don't have the right. So if you want to, I'm happy to sit down with you and educate you about it. And I would appreciate it if you would not have any more of these conversations unless you and I, or you and somebody else that knows what they're talking about with this, have a conversation. And, so I'm that guy. I will have those conversations with people.
It definitely needs to happen, because how many of those conversations has happened? How many times do people say you don't need to go here? Take a pill, go have surgery. You don't need that. whatever the thing is, like those tough conversations need to happen. Are they uncomfortable for people? Yeah, but so is life. So people can get over it.
Yeah, that's so true. And then you think about it, and this is the part that drives me crazy, going back to the cheapiness of chiropractic brands out there. Some of these chiropractic brands, they're paying more for this person to stretch them than they are for chiropractic adjustments.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is absolutely insane.
Yes. And then they market it as in, oh, come in, get adjusted once, and then out $29. It's not, it's a commodity, not a necessity. You don't go and get your oil change once. You don't go and eat once. It's a lifestyle. You don't go to the gym once. You continue to go to get that maintenance care. And the people that offer it at $29 is devaluing it and selling this crack porn on the internet. Like an adjustment is just, and if it does make a sound, it's just a release of gases. So then you go into somewhere, you don't get the good crack, and they never want to come back because they're not educating the patients as well as people like yourself. That's my rant.
You know what? I'm happy to see you ranting about these things. But, ranting's not enough, obviously. We are very heavy. We don't just do the articles on 100yearlifestyle.com. For the doctors that are certified and affiliates with what we're doing, we can also do your website for you. And it's world-class, got all kinds of great AI. It's got great technology. It's hyper-local and hyper-global, both at the same time. And we feed the 900 articles to your site. And have them, so they live on your site, and they do it in a way that it doesn't affect your performance at all. Actually, you're faster, but you have all these locally SEO'd articles that are on your site. The way we deliver it, that is pretty amazing, which is an important thing for SEO. So you're talking about marketing in the digital world. Content really matters. I was talking to a doctor yesterday. He has no content on his website, and we were talking about him getting certified. So he's going to do it. We sent him over an agreement yesterday. So I said to him, listen, you don't have any content on your website. You have all these different techniques that you do, and you're obviously well qualified, but you don't have any content other than about you. And so the thing is if you don't have great content, then people come in not knowing what you stand for and what you do, and more importantly, why it matters to them. So if you have great content, then your consultation is 2 minutes, and your exam is 5 to 7 to 10 minutes, and your report of findings is 2 to 7 minutes, and you create lifetime patients in very short amount of time because you're branded well and you have content that supports what you do. But if you don't have the content, then your mouth has to be the content, and your CA's mouth has to be the content. And if you're spending your time and energy being the voice of content, then you don't have time to grow, and your capacity is restricted.
Well, if in the office, if you're being the voice of content right there, is it going to come off as salesy? And are people going to be more objected to it unless you educate them outside and they already know by the time they walk into your office?
Yeah, and then if you Google chiropractic, the contradictions to what you might be saying, like you said, what is chiropractic? Well, it depends on which Google click I do,
Exactly.
And so what we wanted to, there's a great book, I may have mentioned it already, called Positioning, The Battle for the Mind. This is another book that was a game changer for me as I learned about branding, as we came out with the brand, because when the book came out, we knew we didn't want to just be a book, we wanted to be a brand. And the famous story of this book is, you may not be old enough to remember this, but when Up came out, it was a soft drink competing with Coke and Pepsi, and they couldn't get market share. So they hired this company, Reese and Trout, I forget the name of their company, it was an advertising company, and they introduced this concept of positioning, where they said, listen, you can't compete with the colas. You're the uncola. And they created the legendary marketing campaign for Up, the uncola, and it just skyrocketed.
Wow.
And so it's the same drink, but they just uncolaed it. That's like the repositioning way to say it, is they uncolored it. And so what we've done is we want everybody to look at us with fresh eyes. We don't want them to have any preconceived judgments or ideas of what they think they know. See, now, remember I said earlier, like people thought they knew that they didn't know what chiropractic was. Today it's almost even worse. It's like they think they know when they're wrong. So if you don't give them a fresh repositioning, then you have to first undo what they know and then redo what they know. But if you give them fresh eyes and you give them fresh perspective and fresh whys, but it's the same services people look at it completely differently and they value it more just because you took it out of the box.
Yeah. What now? You said that you have a lot of articles for the web, but how are you making how are you and your docs making social media content to educate people and to
But
build
we make
awareness?
social media content out of all of our stuff, out of all of our articles. So if you go to 100yearlifestyle.com, it's a funnel for people to ultimately come to our people. So we just continue to keep eyes on. We have I don't know what it is, like 40,000 Instagram followers, something like that. And we've never chased followers.
Well,
It's not
in
what we do.
today's world of followers, like right now, how the algorithms are, like followers don't matter. If somebody watches your content for 30 seconds, if they like it or don't like it, like it will keep showing up on their feed until they report, I don't want to see this anymore.
It's true. Yeah. So, I mean, that's why we've never been the cool chasers. We've just been doing our job and doing the hard work.
Yeah.
And so, however it plays out, it plays out. But what we know is that in every community, there are assisted living centers in every community. Different than when the 100-year lifestyle came out, we were seeing that 100-year lifestyle, 100-year-old people were the fastest growing group, still are one of the percentage-wise, one of the fastest growing groups percentage-wise. So none of these people, the life expectancy when they were born was only 50 to 55 years. So this is a generation that's outlived their scientifically predicted life expectancy by almost 5 decades, which is an insane statistic. And so they didn't have a plan. They didn't know how to do it. And so now we know that a healthy spine and nervous system is essential for a healthy long life. It's not essential for a long life. There's a lot of people riding away to 100, but it's essential for a healthy long life. So we put out content we were published we get published regularly in Masters of Health magazine. We have the cover story right now in January in that magazine. And the title is The Doctors of the Present and How Chiropractors are the Doctors of the Present. I sent it to you. I texted it to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they published the article, Everything Works Better with Chiropractic. Literally everything works better with chiropractic. Personal training works better with chiropractic. Sleep works better with chiropractic. Functional medicine works better with chiropractic. Physical therapy works better with chiropractic. Orthopedics works better with chiropractic. Surgery works better with chiropractic. Fitness works better with chiropractic. Everybody should be utilizing chiropractic care. I'm not saying you should get physical therapy or orthopedics or whatever, but these people come in and they think they have to choose between you and the other people. And the reality of it is, no, you should be having the health of your spine and nervous system being a priority. So this is what you need. This is what we recommend. Let's go to work, especially if you have these other things that you're doing.
Everything everyone has the nervous system. So why don't you work on that?
Yeah. And we have an article, by the way. It's one of our newsletters. If you contact me, if you want that article, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Dr. Plasker at 100yearlifestyle.com. Actually, you're better off sending it to admin at 100yearlifestyle.com. It'll get lost in my world. And just send us a note. Can you send me the Everything Works Better with Chiropractic article? And we'll send it to you. You can use it as a newsletter for your practice.
That's admin at 100yearlifestyle.com.
100yearlifestyle.com.
And that link will be in the show notes, guys. Well, not link, the email to get that from him. I kind of want that myself. That sounds super interesting, even though that you've shared a little. So let's talk about systems and scalability.
Right.
You've trained over 12,000 chiropractors worldwide through your programs. What's the most common mistake you see doctors making in their practices, and what's the way to fix that?
Wow. The most common mistake. There's so many. First of all, you have to have a bigger vision, and we are rugged individualists by nature. Everything has to be all about us, Hey, it's my name, it's my this, it's my that. And you have to realize that this is one of my favorite expressions. So I guess this summarizes it with all the things that I could probably mention here. And this is a very interesting quote. I say it a lot to doctors. It is, not, about you. Okay, I'm going to say it again. It's tricky. It is, not, about you. What does that mean? It means it is about you because you have to do your job. It is not about you. It's about the people you serve.
Okay.
Okay. So we have to become less ego about what we're doing, that it is not about you, not about you. You have to do your job, but it's about the people you serve. So get off your high horse and your rants, which I'm ranting now because that's what podcasts are for. And it's the target audience.
Yeah.
But it isn't not about you. And, you can in the middle of, and that's why I think branding becomes so important, because the busier you get, so if it is always about you, you never grow your team. You're always having to say everything. You never delegate to anything. So you max out your capacity, and there's only so much you could do. And if you're a one doctor, one CA, then same thing. So there's only, you wonder, well, why didn't you make that appointment? Well, there's 5 people at the front, the phone rang, people were checking out, and I couldn't do it. You have to have really good systems. It cannot just be about you. So that's one thing. So use systems. We use our site and our systems that way to get appointments for people, to educate people. So when they come in, it doesn't take a long time, like I mentioned earlier, to educate them. They've already been educated. They already know why they're coming, and they're doing it for their own reasons, not our reasons. Another thing is that if there's anything that requires you to do it more than once, figure out a way to only do it once.
So automate it.
And automate the rest of it. Yeah. So that's where the content comes in. That's where the branding comes in. That's where the consistency of messaging comes in. So we, in our practice and in the certified practices and the 100-year lifestyle affiliated offices that we have, they have models of care, lifestyle care continuum, we call it, with crisis care, critical transition, lifestyle care, and it's branded. People see it 3 to 5 times every visit. Bam, 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 branded. They see the books, branded. They see we have a series of posters. They're Life Takes Nerve posters that are branded 100-year lifestyle. And they have wrestlers, Life Takes Nerve with the 100-year lifestyle. They see football players, community people, families, older people, younger people with Life Takes Nerve and the 100-year lifestyle brand. So they're constantly, relentlessly being bombarded with singular, focused brands and messages that get people to understand the importance. Like I said, in 10 visits, they've got hundreds of impressions between the website and what they're seeing internally, so it's ingrained in them. And then I'll give you one more thing, and then I'll let you ask questions if you have any about these things. So in all of the educational model, which we have put together in the branding of this, to get and create lifetime patients, we learned that you have to have 3 things that you cover in all of your communication. Okay? So you have to cover longevity, it's good for the long haul. Chronicity, you've had it for a long time, and performance. So chronicity, longevity, and performance. Those are the 3 things that need to be included in my opinion, a very strong branding and educational model. And to be able to do that in the shortest amount of time possible so that it is recognizable and meaningful to the consumer, not just to you because you said it. Okay, so we created what we call the Empire formula that we have people calculate. It's a very simple, you can go to 100yearlifestyle.com and calculate it now if you wanted to, but it's the age of the oldest person in your family that ever lived or is still living. And then you put in your current age, and then you subtract your current age from the oldest person in your family history, and that gives you a number that we call your Empire, your minimum potential years remaining. Part of their history.
Okay.
It's part of their history form. So let's say Grandpa lived to be 90, you're 45, 90 minus 45 is 45. This is one of our trademarks, by the way. So 90 minus 45 is 45. So here's a 45-year-old in chronic pain, and they're confronting the reality that grandma lived to be 90 years old. They have this in their family. They don't want to be like that. They could have 45 more years like they are right now, unless they do something about it, not just for today, but for the long haul. So we get people thinking long term. We get people identifying with the reality of that they've had it for a long time, and that if they want to perform at a high level for a lifetime, they need to deal with this differently than they've thought about it ever before in the history of their life. And so the branding is the vision that pulls all of that together, because what we hear all the time with the 100-year lifestyle, I don't want to live to 100. You can't. Okay, well, what's your number? Well, I don't have a number. Well, then why don't you want to live to? Well, it's because I don't want to rot away. So what if you didn't rot away? Okay, then it would be good. But what if I don't have the money? I don't want to do it if I'm not going to have the money. So go have the money. Change your life so you have the money, and you have chronic issues. Okay, well, that's fine if you don't want to, but none of the people that are 100 today planned on living there. They just never died when they were supposed to. So you're getting the advance notice. What are you going to do with that information? So people will say, well, I don't want to live to 100. Well, we have a way to educate those people. They may say, well, that would be cool. Okay, great. Especially if I had my health, especially if I could travel, especially if I could do this, that, and that, then I would want to. Okay, great. So why not live your life that way? And at what point are you going to need to make the health of your spine and nervous system a priority? Well, probably now. Okay, well, very good. Well, let's go to work. This is what it means to you. And so we kind of constantly feed people. And then we have the young people. It's the funniest ones. I don't want to live to be 100. I mean, what if you only had 24 hours to live? And this is my favorite response. Well, if you live like you only have 24 hours to live for a year, at the end of a year, you'll be crippled, broken, alone. So at some point, you're going to need to find some balance, which is what this is. So it's fun. We have fun with it. It's provocative. It takes the monotony out of daily visits and whatever monotony you might have, because the conversations are much deeper, more meaningful. And, I'll tell you another thing, and I guess I'm going on and on. I don't know if people can see this, but this is another pivotal moment for me education-wise, which is what you asked me. It's the reason I lost my hair, what I'm about to tell you. So this person comes in and they said, Dr. Plasker, when I came to see you, and they point to their forearm, like at the proximal end of the brachioradialis. I'm shocking myself that I remember what this location is called. But, they point and say, it used to hurt here. And then they move their finger down like 2 inches. And they said, and now it hurts here. Can you explain that? And I literally thought I was going to lose my mind. And I said, no. I said, no, I can't explain that. And I just lost my, I said, you know what? I got to change the game. I'm really sick and tired of these conversations. And so now, we love it. We have a practice filled with lifetime patients that pay us year after year. We have people that pay for family members and friends to come here for lifestyle care, not just crisis care. We have one family, that's a husband and wife, and they have 2 kids, and they have a staff of people that work for them. And then they have some friends, and they pay for everybody. They just wrote us a check this year for $12,500 for the next year.
Love it.
They're on year 6. They're on year 6.
They're on year 6, and they paid up front.
Yeah, and we say thank you. They say thank you, and then they brought my son. I think I may have told you this in an earlier time, and he just had a baby. My son who works with me here, Dr. Corey, and they brought him like this massive, beautiful, highly super duper duper mega expensive diaper bag that is like super duper designer. So they pay like that, and they say thank you over and over and over again, and they cannot show enough appreciation. So any of you could do that. You can attract these people. We attract those people because of our messaging, our branding. We stand for great quality care, and you can too.
Love that. I love that. So you've done a lot of public speaking and education outside the chiropractic profession. How can chiropractors position themselves as health authorities in their own communities?
It's a great question. Well, you have to stand out. Number one, you have to stand out. You have to position yourself in a way that you stand out. We have, that's one of the reasons why people do our 100-Year Lifestyle certification program. It helps them stand out. If you go to 100yearlifestyle.com and even our website, you'll see we have it's called a media kit and a press kit on our website. You can create a press kit for your website. We'll show how you stand out and what makes you unique and what topics do you have that you'll talk about. So these are simple things that you can do, and you got to be good at it because there's a lot of competition. And if you're not good at it, you got to work on it. Public speaking it takes a lot to be. I have studied public speaking. I mentioned Joe Felicia earlier. He literally, in my office for this head-to-head, he called it, he worked with me for literally a day and a half, one-on-one on my speaking skills.
Really?
Yeah. And so I was a natural, I believe I had the talent to be a naturally good speaker, but I did not know what I didn't know, skills. I didn't understand voice inflection. Natural talent is not enough. You really have to be purposeful, which I am an extremely purposeful person. So I had that, but I didn't have the real skills to understand how to move an audience. I didn't understand how to tell stories as effectively as I needed to learn how to do that. Voice inflection, pauses, just all kinds of things that are important, how to have a beginning, a middle, and an end to your talk, timing, sound bites versus long stories, and just all kinds of different things. And so many people go on, they just keep going and going and going. It's like, okay, what's the point? Every story should have a point, which I told a lot of stories today. Hopefully, at least 90% of them had a point at the end of the story. And so I think that you got to work on it. It's not going to happen naturally. You have to invest in yourself. You have to work on those skills. And I will tell you that the branding and credentialing matters. Right now, the healthy longevity movement has replaced the wellness revolution. It is the new wellness revolutions. Governments are organizing around it. We had a doctor in Washington today that I just spoke to on the phone, and he asked me a similar question. And he said, well, I don't know, everybody's doing these like $29 Facebook ads. And, so I got into that. I'm spending like $20,000, I'm exaggerating now, thousands of dollars on $29 Facebook ads. And he's like, it's breaking me. I said, well, that's not your audience, man. So that's not your audience. These people are they're going bouncing around $29 practitioners, not being loyal to anybody, when you can stand out if you do it differently. And so he is going to do it differently. But my point being is that, he's saying he's got to get better at. And so I looked it up for his area, and I looked up healthy longevity and what are the things in his area about healthy longevity. And it's like a government issue everywhere around the world right now, healthy longevity. They're organizing for healthy longevity because assisted living centers are popping up on every corner. And when you look at these this is very interesting. A lot of people don't know this. And by the way, where do you live?
I live in Montana.
Are there any assisted living centers?
Yeah, there's one in my backyard, basically.
Okay, they're everywhere. So do you know why? Do you know why the assisted living centers are on every corner and who lives there? So obviously the older people live there. They need a place to live and they need the care. But why do those people live in that assisted living center? And the answer is because their children who live in your area, who have to look after them, move them closer to them so they didn't have to travel to look after their aging parents and grandparents.
Oh.
So the audience of that, so when you see assisted living centers, the target market of this is not the 100-year-old people. It's the 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old people that are facing the reality and the potential of their extended life and wanting to live differently and looking for new leadership. They're filling up every week. They fill up the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday pillboxes, saying, man, I do not want to be like this, but they don't know that what you have can make a difference for them. So it's a way to attract generations of people into your practice who don't want to rot away. They want to live great quality lives, which is lifetime chiropractic care.
Love it. So what are some of your daily non-negotiables for you to live a 100 lifestyle?
Great question. Well, I'm very blessed with, I don't get distracted by things. I'm a very purpose-driven guy. So I don't spend a lot of time on social media. People will say to me all the time, Plasker, you're all over social media. No, I'm not. My team is. I do not spend a lot of time on social media. I just don't. And I have a ritual in the mornings. I say a prayer when I wake up. I say thank you. I have an anthem that I listen to. I have different anthems that I like, songs that inspire me and keep me motivated. And The Blessing is one song that I was doing for a while. There's Grandpa. It's a great country song. I love it. I'm a grandpa now 4 times over. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. So I listen to that song and it gives me purpose and meaning. I cry every time I listen to it. Grandpa, tell me about them good old days. It's a fantastic song. Teared up thinking about it. And I wish I knew the words to say them right now. I can't think of them right now, but they're meaningful based on this conversation. So that was an anthem for a while, still is occasionally. There's another one is I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what you think. Don't talk shit to me, whatever. It's by Kane Walker, I think it's a very hardcore country rock kind of a song. When you put yourself out there like you're doing, you may get people that target you, attack you. They're jealous. They're afraid of you, whatever. You didn't call on them. You didn't have them, hey, how come you didn't put me on your podcast or whatever? You should have said this. You didn't say that. You probably don't get any of that, right?
No.
Yeah.
So
you need to put but my point being is that when you put yourself out there, that happens. So do you get any of that?
I have on for previous shows, and mainly it's like because tell me one thing about my show, and they're like, I don't know. I'm like, that's why I haven't had you on my show. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and so you have to have that tough skin, that thick skin. The more you put yourself out there,
you do. Just because I do something and you don't like it doesn't mean that we can't have a healthy conflict and a conversation. People don't have thick skin these days. They're a bunch of Nancy's. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but when you were, growing your practice, how many hours in the beginning, boots on the ground, how many hours per day were you putting in?
A lot.
A lot.
More than 40. More like
More
50,
than 40. And
60. Yeah.
Yeah. And you hear these people these days, oh, you don't want to work more than 40 hours a week. Mental health is, yeah, like I'm not opposed mental health by any means and like rest and recovery, but you have to put in work if you want anything to be meaningful. So you have to have that tough skin. You're going to have naysayers. If you're a chiropractor, you better have tough skin because you're going to get called a quack, not a real doctor. You're gonna, with new doctors coming out, they're not getting taught philosophy. They are getting hounded by every pill, potion, lotion corporate company out there because they're vulnerable to not do chiropractic because they want to pay off their student loans. But paying off $250,000 worth of student loans is going to suck. But become the authority, join the $100-year lifestyle, have that revenue, and have support that you got, or if it's not with your guys' program, a certain program to have that tough skin to keep working harder. You have done it. So you have the evidence to show back up. So if a chiropractor is listening right now, go to his website, learn more about him. If you already haven't heard about this doctor, my point is that people need tough skin in this world because we don't have, that's just life.
Yeah. And if you don't love it, you're doing it wrong.
Exactly.
Honestly, if you don't love it, you're doing it wrong. I mean, to think about
why
people.
Did you get it? Absolutely. Why did you get into chiropractic?
So I got injured playing football when I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
Got blindsided, and I went to the hospital. They said, they took x-rays and said, you got a compression fracture. You broke your back here. So you don't play for 30 days, take these drugs. And I said, I looked at my mother. I was a 15-year-old at the time, 15-year-old, big orange afro on my head. It took a lot to penetrate that afro. And I was like, I'm not doing it. Mom, I'm going to play. So find me an answer because I'm going to play. And so I went the next day. I went to Dr. Ernie Landy, Spring Valley, New York. He gave me an adjustment, and I played it that afternoon without any pain. And I was like, wow, this is what I'm going to do with my life. I just knew that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I had no idea of what it was at the time. I had no idea about chiropractic. I just knew that if that's what did that for me, I'm going to be a chiropractor. I want to do this for other people. And, I ended up referring my whole team for chiropractic care. A lot of my teammates, I say a lot, probably 5, 6 of those people became chiropractors as a result of the experience with Dr. Landy. Today, we are the team chiropractor for our high school, Walton High School here. We take care of the football team. We got a meeting with the soccer team coming up next week. We're going to be their team chiropractors. And it's just a fantastic thing that we get to do that. I was a team chiropractor for my son's Corey's youth soccer team that won the national championship. And a couple of those kids chose to become chiropractors. And, you got to fall in love with this. And you say, well, if I didn't have this, I'd fall in love with it. No, you got to fall in love with all of it. Able to be great at, if you're going to be an accountant, you're going to get $200,000 in debt becoming an accountant. If you're going to be a dentist, you're going to have $450,000 in debt to become a dentist. You're going to be a lawyer, you're going to get a couple of $100,000 in debt. That's a systemic problem. It's a systemic problem. So get bigger than your problems, make more. Stop giving $29 visits. I had a conversation with a leader of one of the colleges. I'm not going to tell you which one it was. And they were saying, what's one of the biggest problems? I say, you're supporting organizations that are charging $29 a visit. And you're telling people that they need to compete. And the functional medicine people are charging $4,000. All these other competitors supposedly are charging thousands of dollars. And you're having people charge $29 a visit and you're supporting that. Yeah. And so and I asked them, how many $29 visits at 50% profit, let's just say, do you need to pay off $1,000 and also be able to buy a shirt and get a haircut? And the answer is a ridiculous number. So don't think if you're listening to this that you have to commoditize yourself. You can brand yourself with high value and do it in such a way. And like with us, listen, we don't need to own you. You own you. We'll provide you the resources. We have very fair fees to provide you resources so that you can keep all the profit, be a leader in your community, stand out as a brand. You can still be like Dr. Robert Chiropractic, 100-Year Lifestyle certified affiliate chiropractor in your area and stand out in your community with the best resources. It's like having a $1 million marketing company, branding company working for you to help you stand out, and you don't have to give it away. You can command higher fees, especially if you're good at what you do. And we want to talk to you. We're going to put a 100-Year Lifestyle doctor in every community. It may as well be you if you feel like you're the good fit.
Love it. I love it. All right. Well, doctor, appreciate your time. I think if anyone's listening to this right now, go follow them on social media. Go join his program. Get his newsletter. Get the article that at admin100yearlifestyle.com. Is that right?
Admin at 100yearlifestyle.com.